Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Dear my students, grade 8, welcome back again. We are going to go on and study together lesson 3 for unit 8 second term. Let's go on and study our lesson today. Before we start here, we have a revision. I'd like you to do as shown between brackets. Here we are going to do as shown. The first sentence that we have, we will book 3 tickets this evening. We want to form a question here. You can use more than a question word. Try to think of the answer for this question and we are going to revise them together. The second one, telegraphs are used nowadays. What do we want here? We want to make this sentence negative. So the first one, you are going to make a question, form a question. We will book 3 tickets this evening. Here you can use, as we have said, many question words. And the second one, telegraphs are used nowadays. You are going to make it negative. Let's check the answers together. If you look at the first one, we will book 3 tickets this evening. Here we have more than a question word that we can use. The first one we can say, how many tickets will you book this evening? Here we ask about the number. In the sentence, 3. So this is the first question that we can form. How many tickets will you book this evening? And also we can ask about the time, this evening. So the question word that we are going to use is what? When. So the question is going to be, when will you book tickets? Moreover, we can ask about the thing that you will do. So we are going to use what here? What? So the question is going to be, what will you do this evening? Okay, so all of these are questions that we can form for this sentence. What about the second one here? We want to make negative. Telegraphs are used nowadays. How can we make this one negative? It's an easy one. Excellent. We can say telegraphs aren't used nowadays. Now here, I'd like you to mention some means of communication. Means of communication. Do you remember this one? As we have said before, means, like ways of communication. How do people communicate nowadays? What do they use to communicate? Okay, here people, they can use paper, they can use radios, televisions, computer, and so on. So we have many means of communication to communicate with each other. Let's study some adjectives, shall we? We are going to study some adjectives together. The first adjective that we have is sensitive. Sensitive. The example says what here? We have to be very careful with what we say to sensitive people. So we have to be very careful with sensitive people. Okay? So sensitive here means what? When I want to define the word sensitive, it means easily upset by the things people say or do, or causing people to be upset, embarrassed, or angry. So this is called what? Sensitive. The next adjective that we have, talented. Talented. If you look at the pictures here, you are going to find a talented boy. That's right. So the boys are very talented. Playing basketball is their talent. So the word talented means what here? Talented means with talent. So if someone has a talent, so he is what? Talented. Next one, skillful. Skillful. You can guess the word easily from the pictures that are in front of you. Like people who work in the circus are so skillful. Skillful. So if I want to define the word skillful, it's going to be good at doing something, especially because you have practiced doing it. So if you are good at doing something, so you are skillful. You are what here? Skillful. You have the skill to do this thing. Let's revise the words together. So the first word, sensitive, sensitive, talented, talented, skillful, skillful. Okay, today's lesson is about grammar, the first part that we have. We are going to speak about, yes, both and, both and. I'd like you to move to your book, page 66. Here we have a rule. We are going to speak about it. It's called what here? Both and. When we speak about both and, it's an easy rule. Both and refers to two things or people together. It is always considered plural in a sentence. So both and refers to how many things in a sentence? That's right, refers to two things. And do we consider it a singular one or a plural one? Plural one all the time. We can start our sentence using it, and also we can put it in the middle. Here, the telephone was invented in the 19th century. The telegraph was invented in the 19th century. How many things do we have here? That's right, we have two things, the telephone and the telegraph. Okay, so if we are going to form a sentence here, both the telephone and the telegraph was or were? Were, as we have said, we are going to consider it as plural, invented in the 19th century. So as we have said, both and you have to make it a plural. Okay, the baby is smart, the baby is sensitive. Here we have one baby, but how many adjectives do we have? That's right, we have two adjectives here, smart and sensitive. Smart and what? Sensitive. So the baby is both smart and sensitive. Okay, so this is a rule that we have today. Let's practice more here. As we have said, the telephone was invented in the 19th century. The telegraph was invented in the 19th century. Can you do this alone as we have done it? That's right. So both the telephone and the telegraph were invented in the 19th century. The second one, the baby is smart, the baby is sensitive. So here we have one subject here, but we have two different adjectives. Excellent. It's going to be the baby is both smart and sensitive. That's right. Here we want to write full sentences using both and. The first one, famous actors, talented, skillful. Here we have two different adjectives, so we are not going to start with both and. Okay? Second one, skydiving, interesting, dangerous. The same. Next one, British people, American people. Here we have two different subjects, so you are going to start with it. Okay, both and. English. Think of these and take your time to answer them. Then come back again to check your answers with me. Let's check the answers together. Famous actors, talented, skillful. How can we make this one here? Excellent. It's going to be famous actors are both talented and skillful, because here we have two different adjectives, so we are going to put both and in the middle. So famous actors are both talented and skillful. Same second sentence. Skydiving, interesting, dangerous. When we come here, skydiving is a singular thing, so it's going to be is. You are going to use both, and the first adjective you after that. Excellent. And the second adjective. So it's going to be what here? Skydiving is both interesting and dangerous. It's an easy rule. You can practice it easily. Do your best. What about the last one here? We have two different subjects. As we have done, if you remember the example about the telephone and the telegraph. So how can we make this one here? That's right. It's going to be both British and American people speak English. Okay? Now here I'd like you to use both and to form sentences about the following pictures. Here you have 4 pictures. I'd like you to think and form some sentences about them. Look at the pictures carefully and form sentences but using both and. Take your time and then come back again to check your answers with me. Pause the video until you finish your sentences. Now let's read the answers together. The first one here, we speak about pigeons and bottles here. So we have two different things. So it's going to be what here? Both pigeons and bottles. And as we have said, it's a plural form. So where? Because we speak about past events used to send messages. So both pigeons and bottles were used to send messages. So this is our sentence. We are going to do it like this. Second one here, we have two pictures here. Excellent. The weather is both rainy and cold. Here we speak about the weather, but we have two different adjectives. The first one rainy and the second one cold. So we are not going to start with both and. So you're going to start with the thing that we speak about. The weather here, it's a singular form. It's going to be is, using both the first adjective and the second adjective. So our sentence is going to be the weather is both rainy and cold. What about the third one? Can you guess? It's an easy one for you. Excellent. We speak about Google and books here. Okay, Google, search engine, and we have the books here. So you're going to start with both. So both Google and books can help us get a lot of information. What about the last picture? Picture number 4 here. The park is both clean and quiet. Here we have one thing, but we have two adjectives here. The two adjectives that we have, clean and quiet. If you look at the picture of this park, you are going to find it clean and quiet. So here the park is both clean and quiet. Let's move together to our workbook, page 25, digital communication. The first exercise. Here, I'd like you to write words related to the meanings of the following words. If you look at the left here, we have 5 words: convey, convey, exchange, reaction, means, talented. We want to write some words that are related to the meanings of the following words. Like if you look here, convey messages. We want to write other words like messages here. Convey what? Okay. And the second one, exchange. We exchange what? Like exchange ideas. It's written for us. Third one, reaction. We have positive reaction. What can we say more? Next one, means we have transport. The last one, talented, talented artist. Take your time to write some words like this. But the words must be related to the meanings of the following words: convey, exchange, reaction, means, talented. Let's check the answers together. We have here convey messages. What can we say more? That's right, we can say convey news. Excellent. Convey ideas. What about exchange? Exchange opinions. Exchange knowledge. What about reaction? We have strong reaction. Direct reaction. What about means? We have transport here. It's written for us. What else? Education. Communication. What about talented here? With talent, as we have said, student, writer. And we have more and more. You can write more in the comments below, and I'm going to check them, inshallah. Here, before we finish, I'd like you to use the following words in meaningful sentences about you. Here, before we finish, I'd like you to use the following words in meaningful sentences about you. Here we have 3 words. I'd like you to put them in sentences: exchange, means, and talented. Try to write some meaningful sentences but about you. Exchange, what do you exchange? Means, you are going to use means in what ways? And talented, put it in a sentence. Take your time and try to tell me in the comments below, and after that you can come back to check your answers with me. The first one, exchange here. Compare your answer with this one. People communicate to exchange ideas. Okay, we can say people communicate to exchange information, to exchange news, and so on. What about the word means? What have you written? Okay, compare your answer with this one. Cars and planes are means of transport. We can say bikes, that's right, are means of transport. Excellent. Trains are means of transport. What about talented here? What have you written? Okay, compare your answer here. Artists are so talented. Some football players are so talented. We have more and more examples that we can use to express and write sentences. Thank you, and see you inshallah in other videos.